Hi, I'm Max Worrell,
And I'm Jijian Yang.
and we're in upstate New York to show you 6 secrets that we use to create this calming retreat here at Ridge House and Ridge Barn. So this property is in upstate New York, about 15 minutes from Hudson, New York.
And the property has 2 structures, with the main house at the top of the ridgeline and the barn nestled into the hillside with views towards the Taconics.
One of the secrets we used here at Ridge House, Ridge Barn was to site the buildings in such a unique way to take advantage of the vistas both east to the Taconics and west to the Catskills. The main house is sited on top of the ridge, nestled into the tree line, whereas the barn is nestled into the hillside, creating more of a bank barn condition. You only see one story from the top, and then the garage is on the second floor.
So we really wanted the appearance of these buildings nestled in and simply sitting on the ridgeline and the slopes.
One of the things that we were really drawn to on this particular site was the idea of prospect and refuge. You could really have these long vistas to mountain ranges, but also feel protected and have refuge. So this duality between prospect and refuge was really important for this project.
And it was also really about designing pathways and circulation in and around these structures in the landscape, so you really get to feel and experience different vistas and different areas of the site that are so amazing as you move throughout. We tried to maintain all the natural vegetation around. We tried to cut down as few trees as we could and then revegetate where we had to with native plantings. So a secret we used here was taking inspiration from environmental and land art. Our client was really drawn to this piece by Michael Heiser, which is called Double Negative in Nevada, which has these 2 voids that stretch across the canyon. So we came up with this idea of a trench walk that cuts into this hillside, and you slowly descend up to the main house from the guest barn. And it cuts through these beautiful shale rock. And with the help of our landscape architect, he sourced these fossil stones from a local quarry to create these steps. It creates a slower movement and rhythm as you descend up to the house. So other examples where we wanted to create an expression of objects in the landscape, we had to hide HVAC equipment, and we created these objects that condenser units clad in perforated Corten steel as a perfect cube that sits in the rolling landscape. Hillside Hangout is another gentle mark where we carved away the slope using boulders and glacial erratic stones, and that becomes seats around a fire pit that overlooks the views.
Another secret for us was a really restrained formal language and material palette as well. As you can see here, both of the structures are gabled form, but we worked really hard to create a more elemental, reductive reading of that formal language in the landscape, and then paired that with board form concrete ends on the main house, paired with corrugated zinc cladding, both for the roof and the siding, whereas the barn is entirely wrapped in Corten, both the roof and the walls.
The Corten on the barn is meant to weather naturally, kind of evoking a lot of the natural red barns that you see throughout this area.
And this limited material palette also draws to this idea of like zero maintenance, so that when the client's here, the idea is you're supposed to be engaging and enjoying the landscape and not worrying about the cladding or the treatment. So the barn will weather over time, no maintenance required, and same for the house with the concrete and the zinc. And one of the ideas of being up in upstate New York too is really engaging in all the 4 seasons. And so the idea is that these buildings kind of celebrate that change of seasons. And so like the moment we're in right now is late fall, early winter, and you're starting to see this kind of gray landscape where the house is nestled into these kind of gray trees. And then the summer it becomes very vibrant, and then the house retreats into that more lush landscape.
So again, it was really important that the experience was about engaging with the landscape. And so it is important to have some distance between the guest barn and the main house so that inhabitants in different spaces can really engage with the site and the landscape and not so much have a forefront awareness of other structures and architecture and built environment.
This social heart of the retreat is designed for multiple uses and activities, and that's another design secret. This space is bookended on either side by a fireplace, and then on this side, a wall of white oak cabinetry and a concrete kitchen island. This also has a double-sided sofa so that one can sit here and look out west to the Catskills or sit here and look east to the Taconic. So the idea of creating different zones, there's like a smaller seating group at the fireplace. Obviously this is a long communal table that we designed. We also designed this light fixture. So their idea is like really sitting around the table as a gathering spot for meals and engagement. And then likewise, the kitchen island is designed such that there's a functional side to one end, and then this end is meant to be more social and gathering space on the corner. And central to any retreat is obviously a welcoming hearth, and so we designed this more minimal concrete fireplace that sits central on the axis of the ridge. And then this seating group at the fireplace is meant to be more intimate with a continuous bench where people can also sit and congregate on that as well.
So another secret we used here was being inspired by hospitality-informed experiences like a spa and bringing that into the primary bedroom suite. So here we have the bedroom right into an open bathroom with a freestanding sink, a tub, including an outdoor shower just outside the bedroom. So this freestanding bathtub is made of the same material, concrete, as the floor, so it appears as if this concrete emerged from the floor. In this bathtub, you can sit in 2 different directions. You can look out towards the woods or sit over here and look out towards the mountain range. So the primary bedroom suite is quite large, with the bed right on axis with the entire ridge of the house. And it directly looks upon this very large floor-to-ceiling window that frames the wooded end of the house, and you look directly into the landscape. And aside from that, are these vents that we designed to allow natural air to come in, so you have this natural cross breeze between this vent and that window there while you rest and sleep.
One of the keys of this design was blurring the indoor and outdoor spaces and framing new connections to the landscape. So at this moment, we have large pocket glazed doors that open up. This veranda runs the length of this social space and connects to the screened-in porch down here. The covered outdoor room allows you to really be protected, but still engage in the landscape in a really unique way that's distinct in this particular house. There was a conscious decision, obviously, to use large expanses of glass, reminiscent of like a larger spa-like experience where you're connected from both inside and outside, but also be very mindful of sun exposure. So there's deep overhangs on the west, helping shield some of that exposure. Another key element is the breezeway at the barn. This is a really specific moment in the project where this dark lined wood punctures into the barn and frames a really distinct view to the Taconics and provides this indoor-outdoor space between both the guest suite on the right and the fitness space on the left.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope the 6 secrets we shared with you can help you design your own calming retreat.